everyone, and welcome back to another Oscars stream. I once again am your host, Matt Thomas, joined my co-hosts, as normal, in Jeff Alterman and Paige Rabetti. But I have a special guest in Cleveland critic Mitch Spinell right below me. Mitch, how you doing tonight, sir?
Doing fantastic, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. All right, how you doing, Jeff and Paige? It's been a fun, interesting night. Am I right?
Woo! Yeah. I'm like so amped up. Like this is, I mean, we always joke about it, but it really is like us cinephiles, like Christmas / like Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So like after we get like these like awards handed out, I'm like super amped up. I'm so happy who won overall. So I'm feeling good, and I got to go to sleep. So
I'm pretty sure 2 people on the stream have to get some semblance of sleep.
I also have to get some sleep.
3 people on the stream have to get some semblance of sleep.
Because I just wanted it.
Yeah, but we're here to talk about the Oscars. We all know the winners. We talked about the predictions and whatnot. Real quick, I'm going to start with Jeff, and we're going to go round table. Your biggest shock of the night?
Oh, we're just like not even that. We're just biggest shock of the night.
Mm-hmm. Biggest shock of the night. We'll dive into the stuff a little bit.
I don't know. Nothing really felt shocking, actually. I don't think anything really felt shocking. Through various narratives, if you're following a lot, because when it comes to actual quality, the voters rarely only take that into account. So you got to pay attention to what was in the news, what was the controversies, what's this, what's that. I don't think anything that actually won ended up being controversial. I guess the thing that I would say the most, without discussing the layers and layers and layers of it politically, I'm a little surprised that I haven't seen the film that No Other Land won Best Documentary, considering Hollywood's aversion to even really trying to address that in any sort of fully formed conversation. So for them to have that there win was interesting. I thought they would have all just abstained and voted for something else, like Porcelain God or whatever it is, the Ukraine one. So that's the closest thing I can think of to like actually being a shock.
It didn't. I should have mentioned it didn't have to be like a winner. I just wanted a shocking thing for you tonight.
Oh, a shock! I don't.
You're good.
You know what's shocking?
Oh, hold on.
How much the Oscars love movies tonight. There.
That is true. Paige, what's your biggest shock of the night?
I mean, I do think everyone that won the awards tonight were deserving. So there wasn't like anything that was like baffling or like that did not deserve to win at all. I mean, I guess the only thing I was like a little bit shocked on, just because like with the precursors and stuff, I really thought Conclave was going to win editing. So when it didn't, I mean, I'm so happy Sean Baker won for editing, because this is, I think, the second time that a director won screenplay editing and directing. I think the first one is
Bong Joon-ho.
No, he didn't edit.
Okay. No, it's Alfonso Cuarón for Gravity, I believe. See, guys, I still got the schmo in me.
A little bit.
What's that?
So I think that was the only one I was a little shocked by, because I think when you think of Anor, you don't think of it as like a huge editing feat in a sense. Kind of more or less like usually I think like someone would go more with, a Dune or maybe like a Conclave, more or less. But I mean, I'm so happy Sean Baker won. He deserved it, hands down. But I guess if that would be like the only one I was like, oh, I was going with someone else just because I thought it made more sense, it would be that. So,
Mitch, how about for you?
To be honest, the only one that really kind of caught my attention tonight, and we texted about it, you and I did, was and I'm sure people won't take this as an upset, but Flow taking Best Animated Feature. I had thought that Wild Robot had stolen Inside Out 2's thunder for months, and it was going to wrap up another win for DreamWorks. And then kind of out of nowhere, Flow, not to say out of nowhere, Flow was critically acclaimed. It had a seemingly good shot at winning. But when I heard that, I kind of went, whoa. And then you kind of explained to me, it wasn't that as surprising to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say the reason I wasn't as shocked about Flow is actually in the chat, and it was one Mr. Amaru Moses. Though I was a little surprised by Mikey and Let's Flow. Amaru put me on to Flow months ago.
So good.
He told me right after he watched it, he's like, if you get the chance, watch Flow. It's gonna win.
Flo's
But-
wonderful.
But my biggest surprise, personally, was Adrian Brody big brothering the orchestra. Like, don't play me off.
That was amazing. That was
Oh.
like what?
That
And
was
then he did,
ballsy. He was like,
empty
"Stop."
platitudes and
I was
he,
like,
he,
Yo,
don't play me off. I have to
And-
say specifically some empty platitudes, and then somehow he still brought it home strong. It was weird.
he's
It
like,
worked.
I only got a
It
little.
worked.
I only got a little bit more. 1 hour later,
Yeah.
okay, fine, you can play.
But then he was just like, I've been here before. This is my second win. Let me fucking
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
So, I
was
mean,
just like,
Kudos to him. But
like,
yeah,
I
it was like, all right, wrap it up, bro.
Yeah, and nothing shocking. Right down to Cynthia and Coleman and Ariana being the only people in the room to know he's on down the road. Woo!
Samuel Jackson was
How you
also
doing,
in the
Haskell?
audience. We learned that
Yes.
because he was up on stage at one point.
Yes. I did love all. I will say this probably had to be one of my favorite Oscar openings in years because I loved the
Hmm.
the ode to Oz. Essentially, you gave the three famous film renditions of Wizard of Oz in some way or
Mhm.
form a little bit of a light with great talents, especially the two leads of Wicked, which was Best Picture nominated, and it was just absolutely incredible. My father even said, as we were sitting there, he's like, I'm pulling that out audio and just putting that on my phone to listen to when I want to. I was just like, all right, cool. This is where we're at. And
Question.
Yes.
Question. You said they're all like things about the Wizard of Oz. Was Cynthia's part a song from
That was
The
from
Wiz?
The Wiz.
Okay, because as I said there in the
Mhm.
comment there back to Rue, I haven't seen that. Like I know he's on down the road
I
because everyone
haven't-
should fucking know that song.
I haven't seen The Wiz, shockingly
Right.
enough. I'm probably going to watch that after we finish this. But my father played that soundtrack growing up a decent amount, so I am familiar
it.
at least with the music of The Wiz.
Nice.
So it was nice to have that, and then the little bit of the ode to the substance by Conan. That
was great. I was very happy that we got a substance nod
But
to
that was
open up
so
the whole
funny.
thing. It was hilarious.
I was laughing, and my grandmother was like, "What's so funny about this?" And my dad just looked at me like, "You gotta watch the movie." She's like, "Oh, I just thought Matt had a fuck sense of humor." I'm like, "Okay, Grandma."
I mean, if you watch the movie, it's also pretty fucking sense of humor.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's fucked regardless. I mean, I watch it with my grandfather, so you can watch it with your grandmother.
No,
No.
no, we don't. No. My grandmother goes to like 1 or 2 movies every 2 years. She went to Wicked this year. Oh, look, we got this morose motherfucker finally popping his
Hey.
face in the stream, or not face, but in the
Hello.
chat.
Well, I'm curious, what did you guys think of Conan?
Conan was
hosting
great.
the show?
Conan's one of the greatest of all time.
He
I
was
have
a
nothing
host.
bad to say about Conan. I think he was hysterical. I thought it was great because all he ended up doing were just a bunch of late night bits, and they all killed. I think that he was great.
I wouldn't agree with that at all. But
You're
he was a host.
notorious for how terrible your taste is in most things, so I
Oh,
can't really take your
fuck
comments
off.
seriously. Fuck you, bitch.
Fuck off. No, it was just like he said it best when he introduced Billy Crystal for Best Pictures, like the greatest Oscar host of all time. That was the first
Billy
Oscars
Crystal
I
or
ever.
Billy
like,
Crystal.
Billy Crystal
Yeah.
set the gold standard for me because that was the first Oscars I ever watched. Was one of the ones who hosted with Lord of the Rings up for
Yeah.
stuff, and I was like,
Mhm.
yes. Caro says, "Bring Caro back or Conan back." That's my
Yeah,
take.
bring Caro back.
Mitch, what did you think about Conan hosting?
It was interesting because at first I thought, that opening number, especially when they get to the wasting time dance number, which was a lot of fun, but I thought
That
to
was
myself,
fun.
okay, this is getting a little long in the tooth at this point. But other than that, he carried himself well throughout the night, had a number of good jokes. It didn't seem like he was, stepping on anybody's toes, except for the few shots he took that were a little
Yeah.
surprising, but
Oh,
overall solid performance.
Oh,
He
we
took
were-
a couple of
we're
shots.
Well,
halfway
let's
through the
let's
show,
talk-
so this
let's
is the
talk
part where
about
we
that
call
one
Drake
shot.
a pedophile.
Yes.
Let's.
That one, and then also the whole.
It's fine. I got great lawyers. Oh, amazing. That's so
That-
good.
That one was priceless, and then also him calling out
Carla Sofia Gascon. Oh,
Carla,
yeah.
Oh,
She
yeah.
That
says,
one.
publicist. Like
Mhm.
She
Mikey
had
Madison
more
says,
swears, like,
"Fuck,
I just remember because Mitch and I were texting throughout the night. I remember Mitch just texting me like, "And we have our first Emilia Perez joke of the night," and it was
'Cause I thought there
promptly
would be a
followed
ton.
by another.
I think
Yeah.
I feel like it went over her head because when the camera panned to her, she it's like talking to someone like,
No,
wait,
I think
I don't know.
I think she was just trying to ignore it. Like let's
Yeah, a little
it's
bit.
hard to say that went
Kinda
over
turned
her
away.
head.
Yeah.
It was
But then
funny
he
because
also told her, like, if you're gonna tweet anything bad, my name is Jimmy
Jimmy
Kimmel.
Kimmel.
yes. No, that was great. And it was funny because my mom had to ask, she's like, "Who's Carlos Sofia Gascon?" And I was like, "Just Google it, and you will learn everything you
Yep.
need to know." She was just gracious for being there. Yes, she was, and on Netflix dime because they backpedaled on everything they said. Like, bitches.
Well, the movie would not have been nominated without like her and Zoe's performance.
I've had
So
these for months, Shug.
There was probably, you know what I'm guessing is there. I mean, maybe they did just backpedal. I wonder if with the whole like Oscar thing, they're paying for everyone else. There could be some sort of like an agreement thing where they couldn't like legally
probably
cut
is,
out of
yeah.
it. I'm just guessing that because it's like the same thing. It's like, you know, for publicity's sake, they probably could have like disinvited her even though she's nominated. So I'm guessing there's probably stuff like in paperwork that makes it harder to actually, even if they were exploring.
yeah.
That's my optimism in this cold, unfriendly world.
That's totally fair. All right, so who else expected Sean Baker to go 4 of 4?
Okay, so let's just say a couple things real quick. The previous record that everyone associates with the four is Walt Disney from the 1953 films. He won 4 Oscars in one night. He won 4 Oscars for 4 separate projects, I believe. At least 3 projects and then one for another. But he didn't win them all for the same. So Sean Baker also has the record, not just tying for most wins in one night, but the most wins for a single project.
That's pretty cool.
what-
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
And I
yeah.
mean, like,
Good job.
I feel like it's so nice now that such an indie filmmaker is getting his flowers because I mean he should have been nominated for all of his films. To be entirely honest, they're all
Tangerine,
so
Florida Project, lovely.
Red Rocket.
Red Rocket
yeah.
rocks. Red Rocket fucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I like
You're right.
the song.
But like this, his films are such a slice of life, and they're so genuine and raw, and they just give this such a like a sincere look, especially to sex workers. Like all of his films are based on them, and it's just so amazing that the new Academy graciously like honored such a small little indie film with such a huge heart. So I love Sean Baker. He's gonna continue. He's not gonna like. I think everyone's like, "Oh, what is he gonna do next?" Like, no, he's gonna do.
He's probably gonna be excited to be funded for $10 million for his next film.
Yeah,
That's probably what
exactly.
he's gonna be good with.
Yeah, he's not going to do a Marvel movie or anything like that. This man has this like a singular like focus on just wanting to make indie films about like life and reality and like the truths of it all. And I think that's what's so awesome about him because he's not going to just go now and take a paycheck. Like he's going to continue to do what he does because he just loves it. And it's just, I just love people that have like that outlook and that vibe to them that he's not going to change who he is just because he's won an Oscar. Who might have
I
said
think
he's
it was really
just won,
important that tonight they
still.
all loved movies. I think tonight was great because it's been a while since I think the Oscars really celebrated
loving movies,
love of film for the sake of loving film. I mean, like the the Bond thing was odd, but at least
I was so
like,
confused.
especially on actors selling the franchise.
An in memoriam segment.
Yeah.
It's basically an in memoriam segment to Bond as we know it now that the Broccoli's have relinquished control.
Yeah, well, I think they got an honorary award, and I think that's why they did it.
Yeah,
which that went over my head. I had to Google why because I was like, "This is awkward." They just sold everything to Amazon.
It was already sold. They just finally relinquished rights after taking a $500 million.
Okay, if we're going to talk about things that are odd, I want to say something. Morgan Freeman introducing by eulogizing one actor like that. It's not typical for that sort of thing to happen with.
It's because it was so.
I get that. I just mean like I love that was that because like Gene Hackman, one of the single greatest to ever do it.
Yes,
bar none. And that's such a lovely, wonderful way to start it. And then it's the most batshit choice for Muse.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I don't even hate it. It just
you didn't like
like
the music.
Oh my, no, I'm not. I did like the music, but it also made me think like, wow, you just want us to feel like total garbage. Like,
it made me.
play
You know what?
something that's like celebrating it. This feels dark.
Okay, so I do get that. I actually thought it was beautiful because I don't know when it was a couple of
Makes it
years
feel
ago, maybe,
epic, sure.
when they were fucking doing like the dance sequences with it and stuff. I was like, this does not flow with us
That was
honoring
weird.
these people that passed.
Listen, I
I
just
like
miss
this
the
one.
days where they took over your screen and gave the full screen to those being memorialized. It's like, all right, cool. I'm glad I would even message Mitch and my family's talking about it. We're just like, I mean, this is a really slow zoom in to not even get a full picture and give people the full respect that they deserve.
I did think they should have done something a little bit bigger for David Lynch personally.
I think they should have done that too, but the Academy has never
Yeah.
been, as widely supportive of him as they should have been.
I think maybe could have been it too. Yeah.
There's only
I thought it
one.
was beautiful though.
Yeah.
There's only really
It's
one
simplistic.
big omission I think that I can think of, and that's Tony Todd.
Yep.
People are like, "What about Michelle Trachtenberg?" She's someone who was much more heavily weighted with television roles, so I think
can
that's
argue the
someone
same
who's
with
gonna be
Tony
featured
Todd,
at the
though.
Emmys. Tony Todd though did do more TV, but he
Yes,
has a lot more as an adult,
I know.
impactful presence with that.
With
it's
Candyman and
where
other horror franchises.
I think that he's one that should have been featured with film specifically.
Another one that people
Should have tied it in with Final Destination Bloodlines.
Another one that people said was omitted and shouldn't have been omitted, and as a Kevin Smith fan, I actually agree with this one. Shannon Doherty, who
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she wasn't in it. I just realized
granted,
that.
once again, she was more known for her TV stuff.
Yeah.
So again, when we had that conversation, Jeff, it just hit me like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Real quick, want to point out, Amaru, I am with you 110%, my brother, because honestly, if they had done a better job with Sing Sing, we'd be talking about a Coleman Domingo Best Actor win right now.
And possibly Best Picture, too.
Coleman Domingo was so good. Yeah. I'm happy with who won, but
I know you are. You know
so
I'm
good.
not.
You got mine, Jonathan? Don't worry. Well, I ordered mine a while ago.
Yeah, those in our Blu-rays and 4Ks will sell out in the next Criterion sale. Yes. Again, a lot of Morgan Spurlock, actually, that's one I would have included because of his work on his documentary films.
Wait,
he was
so
actually an
Tony
Oscar
Todd
winner,
in or
but
no?
I'm guessing that they probably didn't want to because of his whole weird, hey, I admit to the sexual assault incident or whatever from years ago thing. They probably omitted him because of that. Then again, Hollywood likes to just re-embrace people that might have been scummy at some point. So who knows?
Bernard Hill, also another one. Theoden from Lord of the Rings.
Outside of that, I think he was much more British TV type stuff.
Yes,
but Lord of the Rings might be one that they would be able to feature for the U.S. because at least those movies are very impactful. But I could see it just being a TV thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's overall.
Martin Mull also, I think, is more of a TV thing.
He's more TV. All right, so we've talked about a lot of stuff that has interested us for the most part. Let's dig into these awards a little bit more because I honestly, I know Jessica's going to keep calling me a fucking idiot for this. I still believe Adrian Brody should have been disqualified. Cody House, I know you may hate me for that. Jeff, I know you hate me for that. But I'm sorry, when half of your dialogue is Hungarian and all of the Hungarian dialogue is being enhanced by AI, you can fuck off in regards to winning an award. Just my
time. I wish that you showed the same anger towards Zoe Saldana for the same thing.
I do.
Using the same program. I do think that, as we discussed before, film upon film upon film use programs in order to edit and update people's accents and voices and whatnot. And the only reason why this one's even discussed is because someone decided to talk about it there. And they do it with things that aren't AI generated. So obviously the issue should be about talking about AI. It shouldn't be talking about the performance because the same should happen with other programs.
My issue is with AI. That's
I'm saying most films that have ever been nominated for a performance should, in the last 15 years or so, would all be ones that should be eliminated then for the same logic. That's all I'm saying.
I have a question for you guys because I just got this message. It was it was a group message that I got. And it was, are the Oscars losing their magic? And I think
really, because it felt way more like Oscar magic this night than
that's what I thought too. I thought
maybe since 2019.
Yeah.
For the actual ceremony itself, I mean, not necessarily the wins. I mean, the ceremony itself, the production of it, because the wins are, that's different. That's different than putting on a show. obviously.
Yeah.
But people being nominated and winning is separate from, I think, because there's only so much you can control. That stuff, I think this is the most it's been in a while.
I'm sorry, we literally messaged back in the group chat. I was like, Paige, you're on a show, pay attention. But I just had to bring that up because I think that is an important question to ask, like as we're doing an after show right now for the Oscars. And yeah, Jeff, I think you said it best. I really do think this year they did a great job of not only with like the show and how it flowed, but them honoring like cinema as a whole. I really thought the magic was back for loving films. And I thought they did a pretty good job of honoring like a wide range of films. I mean, I think we all expected the ones that like what their total like the major players in there are the ones that deserve to win. So
I think that it helps that they had a host who has genuine love for film.
yes.
He was able to make now one of the things that I think is exhausting in recent years with award shows. It's like, this movie is too long. Joke. I think it's dumb because you're there to celebrate the films. The runtime shouldn't matter because it's as good as the movie. It doesn't matter how long the runtime is if it works.
One, thankfully.
No, there were two jokes. One of them, the first one though, I think was the better of the two, and it was the one that he made about the Brutus, which I thought was a good one. Because he was talking about how much he loved it, and the joke was it's so long, which is fine because I didn't want it to end. Luckily, it didn't. That was funny. The other one that he had that was it was the Martin Scorsese 6 Hours one. Once again, it was a joke about someone making really long films, but it's wrapped around this is a master doing incredible work and stuff too. So his runtime jokes, I think, were in good taste personally.
No, that's fair. All right, I know there are at least two people on this panel right now who still think the best original score is a sham, and they're actually positioned right next to each other because both of them think the best original score should go to a film that isn't nominated, and that is Mitch and Paige. Mitch, go ahead. I'll let you say your piece.
God, if I could do the yell from the score, I would. But no, man, Dune Part 2. I understand that it won the Oscar a few years ago. It's using a lot of the same music, but it's still better than all the other nominees. I at least thought it was different enough for them to give another nomination, and it just hurts me. It mainly hurts me just because we had only, and I use only with quotations, 2 victories tonight for Dune, but that was one where I'm like, it's right there, and they just wouldn't let it happen, for me at least.
No, I completely agree. I mean, it was the Brutalist took score, right?
It did.
Great score. Great score.
It is a great
very
score.
Good, yeah.
But to me, the only score that sticks out in that movie is the opening sequence. Like those four notes. That's like what
great
sticks
4 notes.
with you.
Sometimes all you need are 4 notes.
I guess that sometimes all you need is 4 notes. But yeah, no, for me though, like
listen,
the sound and the score.
Smash Mouth has 4 notes. Dun 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 dun. That's 4 notes. You only need 4 to make an impact.
I mean, it's true. It is true. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, Dune wasn't nominated, so
neither was Challenger. So this whole show's a fraud.
I completely agree, 1,000%. Challenger should have won editing, score, and song.
So editing, yeah.
Personally, but that's the only thing I'll take away is that was a sham.
Oscars should have had a new category for just this year for Best Kiss. Do better than MTV.
Can I say I'm just happy Amelia Perez didn't really win much outside of Saldana and the best song.
Tonight was a double-edged sword because it was either Amelia Perez walks away with another Oscar, or we get to say the monkey's paw curse of Oscar winner Diane Warren or Oscar-winning film by Tyler Perry.
Listen. There was another option. It's called The Song from Sing Sing.
That's true. The song from Sing Sing. Really,
it's a great song. I just can't remember. It is a
good song. It should. It should have gone to Conference Repress of the songs. Yes. Like it should have gone to maybe like "Kiss the Sky" from the Wild Robot. That's a lovely song too. Justice for Better Man. The actual song should have actually been. He utilized stuff from. It was the same bullshit that went with "Cut to the Feeling." for the movie Leap for Carly Rae Jepsen was not allowed to be nominated because she had made that song,
Yep.
never released it,
Right.
never showed any demos, and then put it on the soundtrack for Leap. And they were like, well, you originally composed it with the intention of having it in a different
Ooh.
project, so it shouldn't count here. The rules for these shows sometimes are ridiculous.
Bullshit.
Because
They do,
why
yeah.
is Wicked under original score?
Exactly.
Because
That
because
blows
they
my mind.
added to it. That's
Right.
realistically.
Oh, and they
it.
didn't add enough to Dune Part
And it's
2.
wait,
Yeah.
and it's they've never had like.
Stupid.
To be fair, in the stage production, all the score and whatnot are the songs. So everything that is a score and
John
not
Williams
me
can get
singing a
9
song.
nominations for one franchise.
Hey, each movie in that franchise has a ton of different music in it. I'm just saying.
Fuck you, I remember the same beats from every single one of them.
Yes, there's a few songs that repeat, but I'm not going to deny that.
But can we mention the Amelia Perez of it all? That I
Yes.
really do think
We don't need
I really do think Carla's tweets really hurt that movie tonight.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
everyone
What's
thought,
crazy
hold on,
is
let me
that the
finish.
movie should
Part
have
of
hurt
it,
the
part
movie
of it.
tonight.
No.
I think
I
the
mean,
movie
I
hurt
agree.
the
I don't
movie.
think. I agree. I
Mitch,
just think it's a very
read that-
average film.
Why don't
But
you read that last text you sent me before we went live?
Yeah, basically I said that, because a lot of the nominees were kind of hindered by bad press before the Oscars this year. I said, I got a lot of dumb voters, some offensive tweets, and a dash of AI, and here we are. Anora, Best
Yeah.
Picture winner of 2025.
Yeah.
No, but I
Because
think
I don't think Anora was like a hard front runner for when it
Not
Came
until
out
like
at
the
the
last
time.
week or
It
so.
wasn't
no.
for a bit, but what matters most is that Neon needs to keep investing in films that are destined to win the Palme d'Or. Seems to be a good investment for them. 5 years in a row, baby.
it did. I think what happened was when it first came out at Cannes, it was on this trajectory, and then I want to say like late fall, it like kind of started to lose momentum a little bit. But then the last like month or two with the award season, it just started going up again, like slowly riding up that roller coaster wave. And I mean, I'm so happy for it. Like I do think a lot of us were thinking, all right, before the controversy happened, it was going to be between Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, and Amelia Perez, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, those. I think we all thought it was going to be between those four, and it was kind of going back and forth, and we were like, oh shit. But I just think like, I don't know. What did he say? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lost Weekend's the only one of those I haven't seen. Marty is so good. Marty's so
And it
good
just-
in I'm an ugly guy and you're a nice looking woman and we should get together kind of way. It's a good movie.
been there.
Which, Jeff, by the way, speaking of good movies, as you know, I finally watched The Apprentice. Thank you.
Oh, speaking of supporting actor, let's get into it. All right, you
Yep.
start with now that you finally watched The Apprentice.
Yes, I finally watched The Apprentice. I can see why both those actors were nominated. I do agree with you. I do wish Stan got nominated for Better Man instead.
A Different Man.
A Different Man. Sorry. Two titles.
Better Man
of
should have been nominated in one every
Yeah.
category.
He
too.
wasn't
Yes.
a better man and a different man, though.
Serious, man.
Nick, I kind of hate Anora winning Best Picture.
What?
To be
I think
honest.
it's bullshit
Nick-
because
What?
Okay.
no one wanted Better Man to win because they didn't know who Robbie Williams was. I don't know. I didn't know who
Praise
Anora
for
was
Betty.
before I watched the movie.
Yeah. Okay, that is the hottest take, Nick. What the fuck? No, I'm actually so happy because you know what? It's not your average Best Picture winner. It's not like The Brutalist is like that prestige Oscar Beatty film that you would think would win, and that's why I love that Anora won because it's the most mainstream film that Sean Baker's done, but it's still not a mainstream film.
I'm fine with Everything Everywhere
Fair.
winning all the awards that it actually won, except for I will say, I like Jamie Lee Curtis. Shouldn't have been her. I wanted
that
Stephanie
should have been
Shu to win
Angela.
Best Supporting Actress from the moment I watched that movie. So
As far as like public opinion, that pick is like aged like milk. And I'm not saying it was the wrong choice personally, but everyone really goes back and like Jamie Lee, like she shouldn't have won.
Hey,
I mean,
it only
surprising.
went 5 out of 6.
When- I mean-
Nick, when you give everything to one film, what's the point? They're honoring the
best
Anora
film.
deserved those wins.
It's like
people that are
Return
all
of the
voting for, yeah.
It's like Return of the King. Like
What, you want Cold Mountain to get some more awards?
Or how about like Oppenheimer won a shit ton of awards last year.
Majority of the ones
As
it was
should've.
up for.
They pick they're going with the best films. I mean,
Exactly. I remember when Roma was winning a decent amount. Like, or was it nominated and only ended up winning Best Picture? I can't remember.
No, it was oh gosh, was that the year that Green Book won?
No, Roma won, I'm pretty sure. Didn't
Roma
it, Jeff?
won same year as Green Book. Roma lost Best Picture. It won
Okay.
Best Director,
That's what it
Best
was.
Cinematography, Best International Film.
Yeah, which I did say to Matt, if Conclave had come out that year, it would have taken Best Picture by a mile compared to some of those ones. I thought.
and I do think
Conclave,
all of
good
the
movie.
I do think all of the nominees in Best Picture, like maybe if they were there in a different year, they would have had a chance to win. Like you could give a besides Amelia Perez, you could like warrant like why each and every one of those films deserved it. I do think the best film of the year took it.
Just want to
That's
say,
Departure. I
Rue
think
there,
Departure
they
is
usually
the
talk about how Weird Picture doesn't go to director. Both
That's been disproved
went
like
to
3 of the
Best
last
Picture,
5
Best
years.
Director went this year. It went for Oppenheimer, went for Everything Everywhere.
Parasite.
It went for Parasite, it went for Nomadland. It didn't go in 2021 because Sean Heder was not nominated for Best Director for Coda. And then 2017 it went for Guillermo
It's
del
changed
Toro.
over the last 10
2016
years.
it was split with the big shock between Moonlight and Damien Chazelle. 2015 was
Spotlight and Tom McCarthy. Or no,
Spotlight and Almodovar.
Inarritu, yeah.
Almodovar. Oh my God, Inarritu. And then 2014 was Inarritu again, but he did win Best Picture, Best Director for that one.
Yep.
Yeah, so like it is a norm one. It's much more normal for director and picture to go the same. I like seeing them get split because of the whole what Nick's saying there. I do like the idea of sharing the love. You're like, what is the best? Sometimes one movie just happens to be one that has the best everything in it. It happens sometimes.
Look at this. It's a ghost from the past. I never thought I'd see him again. Ferris Mathana, everyone. Well, what's up, Ferris? How you doing, sir? Yeah, they usually talk about picture doesn't go to a director, and that's right. Like I will say over the last 10 years that has changed. It seems like a significant amount because it's happened so often to where everyone used to say, "Oh, if you get director, the other one's winning Best Picture." And I even mentioned that to Nick. I'm like, because we had seen Sean Baker win twice. I'm like, if he wins, I think Anora will get it. Like that's at that point, it's like we've seen it enough in the last few years. I feel comfortable getting it. I still had the slightest bit of fear that The Brutalist was going to pull it off, but wow, I was fairly happy.
I love The Brutalist, man.
I am.
I can't wait to get that A24 exclusive 4K.
Real quick, I had to bring this man on to defend that wild take. Nick Van Denter.
Hello, sorry, gentlemen, it's very late, so I don't have my setup going right now. I'm really kind of tired of this whole Oscar pattern, which is the way you can, as the show's going on, you know how things are going to go. And to me, that's not looking at a singular category and saying that is the best. Nosferatu, regardless of whether you think that's the best cinematography, we know it's not going to win because it's not going to win anywhere else. And I think that's such a shitty way to give out the awards. And I don't think that's doing the best in each category. I think you're stuck on a lot of these awards are going to the films that were deemed in the best picture, but that doesn't mean they necessarily have the best aspects of each film. Like, not to plug the outlet or anything, but we just did our awards for Bite Size Breakdown today, and we were acknowledging people like Naomi Scott in Smile 2 for Best Actress, Willa Fitzgerald in Strange Darling for Best Actress. And like those are some of the better performances, in our opinion, in a year. And because those movies are never going to be in the Oscar conversation, and also just because those are horrors, they're not going to get looked at, selected. Like Best Supporting Actor, we had Jesse Plemons for Civil War. And it's just, regardless of what you think about these individual performances, if they're not in what are deemed the 10 Oscar films, they don't get the awards. And to me, that takes away what some of these awards genuinely are doing, because, okay, it's like, it's really who had the best cinematography, Dune or The Brutalist. And we're like, all right, well, we got 2 to pick from there, but we know it's going to be one of those 2 because the other categories have no shot. It's not like when you're looking at yes, big better man defender. I'm not here to say the visual effects are better than Dune, but if they're close, it's not going to win because Better Man's not going to be an Oscar-winning film when Dune is in the conversation against it. And I think that's something that the awards, as we get this new group of voters in, I'd love to see a genuine, for this singular award, without looking at how it means for everything else, we are going to award the best in this category, regardless of what film it is. And we're not there yet. And I think the Oscars are getting a little boring because we're not there yet.
I get what you're saying there, but I think that goes between, awarding films isn't necessarily in itself entertaining. Trying to be objective about what is the best in this piece of art is always sort of, a little ridiculous at its base. I think that the show around it is really what matters most. The rest of it is just like the industry. At least you get to I do agree they should be, sharing the level a little more with the idea of, there are things that are better with this or that. I'm happy with a lot of the things that win tonight, but I also, every time I'm reacting to these things, I'm like, man, there were 3 or 4 things I wish could have won here. I'm happy that this one also was recognized, and it just happened to be oh, Anora had multiple wins in the end. Oh, it just happened to be that Everything Everywhere had 6 wins or whatever before. Sometimes that it shakes out that way, where maybe it would have been cool to acknowledge it. I get what you're saying a little bit. I don't totally agree with that, but it sucks that neither monkey film won Best Visual Effects this year.
I think we've had the last 3 years really aggressively in that sense. So with Oppenheimer everywhere and Anora,
the apes are just trying to pull a Peter O'Toole or a Glenn Clothes or a Diane Warren, never win.
Well, based on this year, we're not going to see any monkeys in the conversation in the next Oscars either so far.
Come on, Disney! You need to put your whole ass behind the next campaign. We know that you could do better.
But no, Nick, I totally understand what you're saying. I think that comes down to the biggest thing comes down to with that is, and I'm not crediting these people doing anonymous Oscar ballots, saying what they voted for and stuff, but it seemed very prominent that I don't think everyone watches every single film. I don't think all of the whole award body, and I think there should be receipts to make sure that they are watching these films one way or another. Whether it be on the back end, they can see that it was clicked and watched or something. Even if it's on in the background, you still have to. I think if you're going to be an Academy voter, you have to watch every single thing.
So Paige, I don't know if you realize this, but
they have access. They just don't.
They have access, but they have a card that lets them go to the theater and be like, hey,
yeah, and they just don't do it. They don't do it. And it's ridiculous. They don't take, or it's they don't take the information seriously of what's actually being inferred in a scene or something. I saw someone tweet out how they saw an Academy screening of Sing Sing, and during the scene where they ask do you think that the acting are you acting right now, and people in the theater laughed. It's you're not paying attention or absorbing what's actually in front of you there. You're not taking it seriously. Once again, giving awards for what's the best art here is at its core a ridiculous thing. But if you're going to do it there, you want to show how much you care about the art. You want to put it on a pedestal. You want to be able to say, I love this piece of art and I want other people to see it because I love this medium. Take it seriously then, or don't bother. I normally make sure that I watch every single narrative feature that's nominated, regardless of category. And then this year was the first year. It's what do I have to vote? I'm not voting at anything. So there were a handful that I ended up just missing, or it was just hard to get a hold of, so I didn't try and get it. They don't have that excuse, I think, because they are voting. It's different because I could have voted in Independent Spirit Awards, but the last 2 years I forgot. So but I paid into that. It's different.
Yeah.
So, that's my own fault. I paid. They got my money.
But I think that's where it comes down to, Nick, though, which is the fortunate part. I think if the Academy voters were actually watching everything, I think people wouldn't just be handing their ballot to their assistant to fill out, or just circling what they think is the more popular vote, more or less. But I do, like I said, though, I think what won tonight was deserving. So I'm very pleased to see a little film like Anora win.
We got 5 stars here and a like. That's 5 stars for the 5 wins that Letterboxd user Sean Baker got tonight for his film.
Yes.
He got 4, but 5 total.
Yes.
And like I said,
All
like I do want to make it clear, like I'm a fan of Anora. Like I like the film. I love Everything Everywhere. My favorite film of the year was Conclave, and like I knew before this happened that it was going to win screenplay, and the Oscars are so less interesting to me when we have these preconceived ideas. Like I do not think Kieran Culkin is the best supporting actor performance of the year. But I knew that no one else had a shot going into this. Like that wasn't something where even an upset or a surprise was even possible because he just kind of run the table. And
Well,
that's
how did you feel
He
about
Divine Joy
interesting.
Randolph the whole competition.
I'm pretty sure if Divine Joy Randolph was in it, there'd be a different. Or Divine.
if she was nominated for Best Supporting Actor,
Yes.
it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
You know who? Divine Eye. Sorry.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Clarence
Divine Eye?
Macklin? Is that what you're talking about?
You said what page?
What?
Clarence Macklin?
Yes.
Clarence Macklin.
His
Yes.
person name was Divine Eye. That's why I say that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
well, what did you think, Nick? Then what did you think of, I thought I mean the actress race was always between Mikey and Demi, but I thought on our bite size nominations ballots that we did who we thought were gonna win. I put Demi because I thought she just had the narrative. I do Mikey gave the best female performance of the year in my eyes. I really do think she did, but I just went with Demi because I was like, oh, the Academy is just gonna go stronger with the narrative and to give this woman her flowers. She did give an amazing performance, but that film is more of a two-hander. She's lifted up so high because of what Margaret Qualley was able to do because they split the film.
I think the Academy also doesn't do that as much as we think they do. They'll give The Revenant, they'll give Leo his flowers, but for the older actors that have this resurgent performance, you don't get it as much. It's very much like Sylvester Stallone and Creed. We all thought that was a no-brainer, and they didn't do it.
No, we all. You want to know what we all thought was? No, you want to know what we all thought was a no-brainer? Fucking Chadwick Boseman and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
We're talking about resurgences. That's a little different.
That's kind of in the same as Leo.
I know. I'm just talking about you mentioned no-brainers. Woo!
But no, I mean, you're definitely right, and that's I was honestly
I would disagree with a no-brainer there personally.
Yeah, I screamed when Mikey won. I cheered because I thought that was the most surprising win of the night because I really thought it was going to go to Demi.
That was one of the ones where I didn't know where it was going to go.
It was really good. They both had competing narratives when you talk about the whole awards campaign thing. You have the Young Ingenue. They love giving Young Ingenues on their first nomination.
I will agree with this. RB3 said it best. Hollywood likes young actresses and older actors.
Yes, I completely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I admittedly haven't gotten a chance to see the film because there are so many films that come out in a year, but by the accounts of most people, the actual best female performance was Fernanda Torres. And that's what I've heard from a lot of people, that she is
haven't seen it.
Technically...
Can't comment on it.
Having seen it, she's very good. And keep in mind, I'm Still Here, Anora, and The Substance all in a 2-3 week span of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I still had Mikey head and toe above
I think
Demi and Fernanda Torres.
Yeah, I think that the issue with because it's oh my god, there's so many ways to properly sell that it's Demi that should have won because I love her. She was my number one. Mikey Madison was my 1A or 1B to her to Demi's 1A basically. I think they're both incredible. But having said that, you know that they loved Anora so much that it had to be part of the reason why she won was just she's playing the title character there. We're giving love to all the major things. How would we not give love to the person who's at the core of the film, narratively speaking, versus they gave everything to Sean Baker, obviously. So they also have to give the other person that really makes that.
Ferris, real quick.
I had this
it was out in theaters.
That's on me.
It was out in theaters, by the way. I could have just seen it in theaters.
I had a
You don't know
screener
how I
online
watched
and I
that.
never opened it up and it expired and I never asked for another link.
Right.
That reminds
that's
me,
why
I have screeners that I got to check out for other stuff right now.
like
Shit,
I will
man.
honestly admit I unfortunately didn't get to watch I'm Still Here because it wasn't playing near me. Which I definitely am still gonna get around to seeing it because
We
I
had
do
a
want
few
to see that
theaters out
film.
here where Mitch and I live in
But
the Cleveland area. That
I
had
did think that I thought there was a possibility that Mikey and Demi were gonna split the votes and that Fernando Torres
Fernanda could have
could've
snuck in.
snuck in and took it.
Justice for
Um,
Carla.
It is always nice when you get those random like surprises, like, oh shit, I did not think that person was gonna win. But I just do think this award season, I think everything was more like, unfortunately, just like predictable, kind of in the sense where everything was leading up to.
Well,
With the
can I-
even though the precursors don't mean shit, because at the end of the day, the Oscars are the Oscars. They're gonna do whatever they want.
here's the thing. And Nick, I know you said you wanted to get back in bed, so I'll let you go, sir. But
Okay. Thanks for having me on, guys.
no problem. I wanted to have you on to
See
defend
ya.
your take, but you're free to go. But
Okay.
I do want to say something that a lot of people still aren't acknowledging is the fact that this was a post-strike
Yes.
year.
Mhm.
It is a large reason why this year, compared to most, was very telegraphed in what you were going to get.
A little bit, yeah, that's true. I mean, it didn't limit the quality of a lot of films.
No, it didn't limit
at
the
least,
quality.
because like strikes, no or no strike, good creativity is found anywhere. Look at that
That's true.
smarmy ass frozen face there. For
Uh,
oh, and then it's gone.
but no, and that's
Just like
the
the
thing.
frozen is like, oh, that shit-eating grin.
But no, it's that's the thing. Like I'm not saying strikes hinder quality, and because I will say in this case it didn't. But there's not as many choices, and there are certain things, Amelia Perez, that might not have been as nominated in a non-strike year.
Yeah, I think it depends, because it was one of those movies where fucking they slobbered all over its knocker, and then just like
And
It's an international feature, and it has like a lot of people were kind of rooting for it. If you guys have noticed, so like the last 2 years, like there's been, or at least like last year and this year, there were 2 international features in Best Picture. So like they are opening up the
floodgates.
Yeah, the floodgates to allow that, like to allow more
I
international
think
features.
Parasite really was the one that I think
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
effectively
Definitely,
did it. There
that
were other
and, like,
stuff that
Homeland,
were
yeah.
nominated for bits here or there in the past. You got Amore, which is a
The Artist.
devastating one. The
Mhm.
Artist, yeah, I forgot all about that, but
Roma.
it's fine. So did everyone else. Yeah, exactly. Roma.
All right, so I got to ask, what was your favorite? Did I ask what your favorite part about this Oscars was? Or
No, you asked what we thought was
Okay,
the biggest
so I'm gonna go
surprise, and then didn't categorize.
opposite way around. Mitch, your favorite part of tonight's show?
Oh gosh. One that kind of stood out to me was them bringing out the LA firefighters and having them tell a couple of jokes that Conan couldn't tell right after such a tender moment. And one of those firefighters, I said to you, I think the woman at the end, she might need to consider going into show business in some capacity.
Yeah.
She was really good. I mean, she delivered her line really well.
Listen, the one who made the Joker 2 joke, I was like, that was delivered it with such a straight face until the end.
My sister had stopped by for like 2 seconds and she saw that bit and she was like, that was in poor taste. And I was like, no, but they're the like
They're
first
the
responders.
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay.
The idea
'cause
is
they
like
could say that.
they're saying ones that are intentionally in poor taste, and you can't be mad at them because they're the
Exactly.
fucking heroes.
Exactly.
They're,
Exactly, yeah.
like I
Hey.
said, I think Conan is one of the greatest of all time.
Favorite moment.
Yes.
This is hard. I'm just gonna do a little fun one though, real quick. Because then we can do like our favorite wins and stuff like that.
Yes. That's right.
Mine was when Sean Baker gave a shout out to his dog when he won Best Editor. I love that because I own a dog.
Lover.
And yeah, I'm a dog lover and I own a dog, and I love that because your dog is always by your side, and he's obviously on his computer hammering, getting the editing done for the film, and his dog is probably has it like his or her head like on his lap while he's doing his work. So I just thought that I love that. So
Fair enough. Mitch, or excuse me, not Mitch, Jeff.
This isn't one of my favorites. I just want to mention this first. I know I kept complaining about award show stuff, but one thing that really stands out is the ability to let the smaller filmmakers actually get their moment to shine. Like we saw the thing with the sound thing where they just cut the guy off, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Especially after the Adrian Brody thing. But like the short animated filmmakers from Iran who they struggled. They went through this whole thing in order to get there, and then they didn't even have a translator. But it didn't stop showing just how impactful this sort of being on the stage, sharing their art with the world, and the art accepting that and holding it close to them, holding space for it, one might say. I think that's what makes stuff like this really important. An actual favorite thing is really hard to determine, so I'm going to go with, the Dune Worm just showing up.
That was my other
As
thing.
the harp player from Arrakis University.
I love Conan's late night bits. Like his sense of humor works so well. It's just that and calling and making a joke just one more time. Say the Drake's a pedophile. Just amazing. Just so good.
You had to take mine because that was.
Come on, man. Like it's come on. It's
the
so
fact
good.
that he's like, "Don't worry, I lawyered up."
I got
was
lawyered
like,
up.
And the Super Bowl censored that word, and the Oscars were just like, "Nah, go ahead, you can say it. Go ahead."
Yeah.
Oh man,
Funny.
so funny.
Ferris, I'm not gonna lie. Part of me thought the same thing. The crowd must have hated Sean Baker. They're like, him again? Yeah.
I think it's fine because at least his speeches were all different enough. Like the first two were like, the second one was like, I guess I got to kind of flounder through the same stuff I did the first time. And then the third one, he's like, wait a minute, I need to talk about something that I hold really close to my chest. He pulls out a whole speech that he didn't read for the other two, which, by the way, baller move to call your shot knowing you're going to be up there again later for that one where people are going to pay attention to read that off. Good job, man. And then he, like, come on, good for him. He took advantage of his record-breaking and record-making night.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just awesome. That's my favorite. Knowing that he had that whole massive page planned out and then chose to wait, knowing he'd have at least three shots to get up there.
It looked like he wrote that last one while waiting.
Well, he was reading, and I paid attention to the page. I
noticed one side.
Switched.
It
switched.
I noticed one side was typed out. So that's
it cut away. It cut away from from there. He flipped it from one printed side to the other.
Okay, that's why. I didn't notice that. All right,
that's so funny to me now that I think about it. Like, it took me a minute to really process that.
All right, and then we're gonna end with this one, and we're gonna start with Paige. What was your favorite win of the night?
Favorite win? I mean, besides the Noah winning Best Picture, which I'm so happy about because I can't get enough of Sean Baker's films, and I just love that an indie filmmaker won. I think it was Mikey Madison because I really didn't think she, as much as I wanted her to win, and I keep saying that she was my favorite female performance of the year. I really thought the Academy, especially after Demi winning SAG, that it was in the bag for Demi Moore. And so I was so happy when they called Mikey's name because that to me was like a total like coin cost of why can I talk right now? Coin toss. There we go. Can't talk right now. So when she won, like I think she was just as surprised as everyone else. I don't think she like expected that. And it's so awesome to see such a young breakout star get her flowers. So, and like Sean Baker said, like to Quentin Tarantino, like my favorite director of all time, like she would have never been in his film if he didn't see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
how fucked is it that they had Quentin Tarantino out there presenting Best Director and he's number one?
Yeah, I do think that's fucked up. You know why they had him up there? Because Christopher Nolan is filming The Odyssey right now.
Yes, which is why they didn't have as many A-listers. That's why I looked at the cast again, and I'm like, oh shit, there's a lot of huge names that are in this movie that aren't there tonight because they're in fucking Marrakesh.
Yep.
Oh man.
All right. Mitch, your favorite win of the night?
I think we got to go back to Kieran Culkin winning for Best Supporting Actor, mainly because I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. The fact that it revealed
Speech.
about what he said to his wife.
You
His
took
speech,
mine,
you
Mitch.
made with
You
great
took
speech.
mine, Mitch.
People were so critical of his SAG speech when it was like, that's kind of a fun one. He was like, clearly, he said, you know, it means a lot to me, but still like, ha ha ha. Tonight's one, great speech.
Yes.
Mhm.
That was literally the one I was going to mention, Mitch. So thank you. Thank you. All right. And
Yeah,
Jeff.
he basically said, I am going to fuck my wife.
I was
Good
like,
job,
Yep.
Sarah.
I should have taken
He
Dune
said,
winning
"I'm getting
2
laid."
Oscars.
He's like, I'm not going to fuck her once. I'm going to fuck her at least twice because I'm getting 2 kids out of this.
I should have taken
Oh.
Dune winning its best sound and visual effects and to save your ass.
Oh, Jeff, what was yours?
My favorite, I'm going to go with, I was happy with a lot of them. You know what I'm going to go with for the bit? I'm going to go with my favorite one is El Mal winning for Best Original Song so that we can keep this non-winning train going for Diane Warren.
Poor woman. Poor woman. I like him.
She's like, she doesn't even like want it. She's just like, I just deserve
I love
it.
how Mitch had to hide his face.
No, man, I'm joking. Fuck that movie.
Well,
Yeah.
I
go
loved
with
the Real Pain speech, but I guess I go with I'm gonna go with director for Sean Baker, I guess, because it led to that great speech about the power of going to the theaters, you know, which was great after the bit with Cinema Streams. Another funny bit that they used. They really showed how much they loved Hollywood, they loved LA, and they love the theater. That was huge. So I'll say that. I guess there were a lot of moments I liked, a lot of wins that I liked, a lot of deserving wins.
Yes, I think that was the biggest takeaway from tonight. The wins were deserving. It wasn't just this film was the biggest film of the year, or it was
Most of them were deserving.
Yeah, most of them were deserving. Yeah,
Ones that weren't deserving, my favorite of the night, El Mal from Amelia.
I think we all agree that the song from Challenger should have won. Oh,
Did
but
it?
it was
Jacques
not.
Audiard's now an Oscar winner. Fuck that guy. He went up there and made it so cringe, dude.
With the singing.
So cringy. So cringy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The orchestra did a good job of giving them music in the background because that could have gotten really weird real quick.
Yeah, they should have played it off.
All
They
right,
should have done a different thing. He should have had Bob Newhart in a cage again or whatever. That's gonna lose air.
I will say, since Mitch took mine, I'll go to my second. My second favorite win of the night was Paul Tazwell, Northeast
Yes.
Ohio Zone for
Great.
Wicked.
Great win.
First black costume designer to win an Academy Award.
First one to be
Gotta love
nominated
it.
even before that for West Side Story. Great
Yep,
costumes
sir.
in that movie.
Yes, I thought that got robbed. That is up there in one of my favorite films of all time. One of the
Amazing movie. Amazing.
One of the few films that you're like, you shouldn't remake it. Well,
No.
Steven Spielberg's doing it, and you're like,
Yeah.
I thought that
"Ugh."
original one was one of the greatest movie musicals of all time, and then Steven
Then
Spielberg
I
was
saw
like,
the new one.
"What if I
But
made it better?"
Better. Exactly. That is one of the few remakes where it's like, nah, that's better than the original, man. Like,
Ugh.
yeah, first black man. Thank your first black man.
First,
Thank you.
Ruthie Carter for both Black Panthers
Panthers.
because
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
amazing costumes.
Yes, they are.
Those are the kind of costumes you look at and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is a no-brainer."
First said I want to shoot myself when they start singing. I think a lot of us did.
Which then again,
No, I
you
do
talk about
think
Ruthie
a
Carter,
lot-
you think
Yeah.
no-brainers, and it's like, damn, Coming to America kind of should have been a Best Costume nominee.
It should have been, but
Yeah.
she
But no, I
should've
do
won.
think a lot of awards were handed out tonight, and they did spread the love at least to like I mean, obviously Nora won majority, but like Wicked got its love, Conclave got its love, The Brutalist got its love,
Mhm.
Flow, I'm Still Here. I think those are the only films that won. I
A
think
Complete
out of-
Unknown didn't get any love, which is fine.
Mm.
Substance got a win page for best.
Yes.
Yeah, it
makeup
did,
and
which means
hairstyling.
that A Different Man didn't get it, which is fine. I love A
Yeah.
Different Man's makeup work there, but it is only partial versus the gradual build in Substance,
Yes.
which is at least crazier. It's definitely one of those most makeup awards, but most makeup in a different way than like if Wicked were to win, which was just like, yeah, we gave them a nomination because we made sure to paint her green.
Yeah.
Multiple. They painted multiple people green.
But what they did with the effects,
That's a lot
with
of
the
green
makeup-
paint.
Yeah, but what they did
Yeah.
with the effects and the makeup and
Great stuff there.
the substance,
Great stuff.
is
At least
so
we get to
deserving.
say, at least it gets to be alongside such esteemed films as like Suicide Squad for you to say, Oscar-winning film, The Substance.
Yes.
Exactly.
So they did spread the love tonight a little bit.
A little bit,
They did.
a little bit.
But
Oh,
I
yeah.
would spread it a
than-
little more.
Yeah, it
They-
was.
you know what
it
they
was-
should do? They should open up the acting categories. Make it like 7 instead of 5. Add a few more. Because you know what? You got the biggest thing of the night, the biggest thing in the industry for you here in the country. Why not try and you did it with the best pictures. Do a couple more with the acting ones. All the different award shows that people love the most, like that they enjoy watching, Critics' Choice, stuff like that. You got like 6 or 7 normally in some of those categories. Why not? That way you get one less snub. Maybe that way you can at least get Amy Adams back in there for Arrival if you have a time machine.
That is true. So yeah, even though the awards were like the winners were kind of predictable, I'm still happy with who won. I thought it was a great show. I thought Coney did a great job of flowing it. I think it was a great idea to start it an hour early too. Usually it starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. It started at 7 p.m. So us old folks can go to bed somewhat early.
It's past midnight, Paige. Wrap it up.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
is it really?
Yes,
It
that's why
is.
I'm like, you're the one who keeps talking. And
I know, but I just love the Oscars. Like I do, I really do, because we all get to come together and celebrate cinema.
Yes, and for people who schedule a film festival on the night of the Oscars with a slot that starts around the Oscars, you're fucking idiots. Just got to say that. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Real quick, got to give everyone their chance to plug. Paige, where can the good people find you at?
Yes, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Front Page News 9. You can also head over to bitesizebreakdown.com and all of our social media platforms to see all of my latest film and TV reviews and articles. And we also have our YouTube channel, Bite Size Breakdown. And we were actually doing a segment called A Bigger Bite, and we dove into all of the Best Picture nominees, and so you guys should go check that out, especially the Nora one that dropped today, where we dove deeper into that film and took a bigger bite of talking about what that film meant to all of us. And I think you should definitely go check it out since it won the big award tonight.
Jeffrey.
I'm Jeff. You see me here. You see me there. You see me at the bar across the street, probably. Yeah, I'll have some reviews here soon, hopefully. Let's see if I follow through on actually watching the movies first. Back to you, Matt.
Mitch.
You can find me on YouTube and TikTok at Mitch Spinell Movies. That's Spinell. On Instagram and Twitter or X at Mitch Spinell. And if you want to hear me sparingly talk about sports, be sure to tune in 92.3 The Fan weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. You can also find it on the free Odyssey app.
I was just about to make sure you plug that Odyssey.
Yeah.
And you can find me always here doing my reviews and occasional podcasts with this crew right here. Jeff and I should both have reviews coming up this upcoming week, hopefully. Probably one on Mickey 17 and on a weird surprise Saturday review for Novocaine.
I'm going to go see it next Monday.
Yeah,
or at least that's the plan. I RSVP'd, so hold off on your review, dang it.
No!
I told them I'm RSVPing to do it for this channel.
Okay, fine. All right. And then, the following week, Black Bag. I know I had that review coming up. But tomorrow, I know I've slacked. I slacked Friday. Tomorrow is the end of the Daredevil celebration leading into Daredevil Born Again. You'll get both the season 3 review and the Disney Parks Daredevil Born Again Daredevil mask unboxing video. Both will drop tomorrow.
Oh, that's
at all
awesome.
times.
You got the mask? That's
right. Thanks to someone on this panel.
Who was it? I don't remember. I said I don't remember.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, when I bought it.
He was blacked out when he bought it. But yeah, so you can check out all that. And again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us this Oscar season. And we'll see you around maybe a little bit more often. We're trying to figure that out, but we'll see. So with that, I am Matt. That was Jeff, Paige, and Mitch. And this was another Real Talk. We'll see you next time.